Our guest is Taras Gresko, who's in the studio. First of all, welcome. Thank you for being here today. We appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, nice bike ride down today. A little chilly.
Ooh, I bet. Hope you had a toque.
Are
A helmet. You're wearing a helmet, right?
Yeah, well, that's a
Okay.
whole other discussion.
Were
But
you
I
wearing
was wearing a toque.
A toque at least? Okay.
So you have a brand new book. You've done, how many books have you done? Is this 7 nonfiction books?
It's the 8th.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
number 8 with a bullet.
You're busy.
Unreal. So this one is called The Lost Supper, Searching for the Future of Food and the Flavors of the Past. So we were just chatting while we were doing the news here. And this is all about diversity and the fact that we lack so much of it in our diets here in North America. Is that the basic premise?
Yeah, not only in North America, around the world. We basically get 60% of our calories from 3 grasses: corn, rice, and wheat, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with them, but a lot of them are genetically modified, scientifically hybridized, and many of our other calories come from things like sunflower oil, that kind of thing, seed oils, and we're adapted to have far more diversity in our diets. Back in our hunter-gatherer days, we were kind of browsing on just about everything. We were omnivores, of course, and although it looks like there's tons of diversity in the supermarkets, when you go to a Whole Foods or something like that, or and you look on the shelves, you're seeing things imported from around the world. The fact is, when you break down what people are actually eating, not much diversity. A lot of it is industrially made. So my challenge in this book was to go around the world and look for lost and ancient foods that give us some kind of clue to how we could eat better in the future.
So I have 2 questions. Number one, as soon as I hear someone say genetically modified or industrialized, whatever, and I understand the association is that's bad, and I'm wondering, why is that generally necessarily bad? Just because we've taken something like a grain and modified it to give us more of the grain, it grows faster, we have more, it becomes more readily available. Why, in your opinion, is that bad just at the get-go?
It's not necessarily terribly bad for human health. It's really bad for the health of the soil and agriculture in the long run, because these genetically modified crops, they need tons of irrigation. They succeed because you need tons of pesticides and herbicides. It's a kind of whole sort of industrial complex to keep these things going. And in the long run, that's leading to depletion of the soil. And we're heading to a big global crisis because of that. So it's a bigger picture thing. One thing I found about genetically modified foods is that they're not very popular. I mean, we've had them for 20, 30 years in North America, and people don't really want to eat them. We are getting them in the form of feed that goes to animals, and then we eat the animals. We're getting them kind of in the hidden form in processed foods like sunflower oil, all kinds of seed oils that go into our food.
Are seed oils bad?
I'm not a big fan of seed oils. They're heavily refined. So things like canola, sunflower, that kind of thing. I'm all about the fresh fruit juice, which is olive oil.
I'm starting to think, remember the ad, sunflower oil, little sunflower, how healthy this was, how great it was?
Well, this is what I'm wondering. How did we end up where we are? And is it marketing must play a huge role? The need to feed the planet has to play a huge role. But
Right.
It sounds like way back when in the hunter and gatherer days, when we just had to eat what we could find, it was actually better.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not saying that we can go back to
can't.
those days. We've had these 3 agricultural revolutions: the Neolithic, the Industrial, and now the Green. It's impossible to go back. What we should be actually doing for optimal health is looking at what our ancestors, look at your own genetics and see what your people, in my case, it's Ukrainian and Irish, were eating 500 years ago, before the industrialization of food. You'll tend to thrive on that diet. And it's also just so much fun reconnecting with that. I've done that here in Montreal by seeking out artisanal bakers, by seeking out artisanal butchers, the people who produce amazing cheeses from around the province. The voyage away from industrially made food is really enriching. I've turned my kitchen into this kind of miniature factory where I'm making my own sourdough, my own kefir, my own kombucha. what comes with that is this real sense of independence, of autonomy. You realize that, we're scared of our food right now. We're obsessed with the health side of it.
You're right.
But, actually, it's not that complicated. During the pandemic, I had the opportunity to experiment with a lot of these things and to connect with this amazing Montreal is this great food city, to connect with this amazing community of people who are passionate about food and are making great breads, great cheeses, great everything.
Great everything. Yeah, you're right.
But see, here's my question again. We're living now. I've brought this up a million times. We were living in a convenience society, right? We're all time
Grab and go.
starved. We got to get things done in a hurry. So what happens? You go, you buy it. It's just, you heat it up, you eat it. So as wonderful as it sounds to be able to do this, the reality for so many people is they don't have the time. Never mind the inclination. They simply don't have the time to do it. So from a convenience point of view, is there a middle ground here somewhere?
I'm not sure if there is. I mean, this was a real process of slowing down for me, and the pandemic helped. I did a lot of the research during the pandemic. Suddenly, we were all in our kitchens.
Right.
Well, I mean, we all had a lot of time back then, but we were still stuffing things into the microwave. Here's the thing: we all dream of like this kind of good life, the Mediterranean life, where families are sitting around tables underneath the olive trees, drinking glasses of wine. And we realize this is what we kind of aspire to, but we don't have the time to ever slow down and get there. And so we just jam things into the microwave because we've got to get to our next appointment. Maybe part of the process is slowing down a little bit. And a really amazing way to do that is through just figuring out where your food comes from, making a little bit of food for yourself, a little bit at a time. It can just be like starting with your balcony, garden here, because we're here in Montreal, and working with that, putting one foot in front of the other.
It is amazing how gratifying that is. Like if you just grow a few cherry tomatoes, or like I have a basil plant that's thriving and I'm all like, look at me. Like there is something, I feel like it's in us. It's just in us to want to do that, to make our own food, to grow our own food. I'm curious for you where this all started. Like where did this passion come from? Because it's kind of unusual.
The idea for the book came, I'm a travel writer, a food writer, and I was in Greece. I was on the Pangaion Hills north of Thessaloniki, and this vintner brought us this amazing glass of rosé, and he said it was made from a grape that a almond farmer had found nearby, and he claimed that it was the same kind of wine that was drunk at the time of Homer.
Wow.
So 2,500, 2,800 years ago, and that kind of planted a seed in my head, because all of a sudden we have these archaeological and analytical techniques that allow us to look at the remains of food and recreate them. So I was like, can we actually taste the past? That was the beginning. So I went to Spain to track down this ancient Roman fish sauce called garum. I went to Turkey to find this plant called silphion, which was a staple of the ancient world. And through telling all these stories, I educated myself about creating my own food at home. And it turned out to have just been a really life-enriching experience.
So is all this in the book? You recount all this in this particular book?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Lost Supper.
I wish we had more time.
Yeah, me too. It's fascinating.
It
This
is.
is why we had you back on. Last time we talked about bugs and eating bugs, and we're like, well, there's way more to talk about with you.
Yeah,
So you'll have
bugs
to come
are
back.
one meal
Right?
in the book, but not the ultimate meal.
So the book is called The Lost Supper, Searching for the Future of Food and the Flavors of the Past. The author is Taras Gresko, our guest. I will thank you for coming in. And I would ask you, just before we hand off here, you eat no processed food? You go out of your way to avoid any kind of processed food?
Full disclosure, it was Halloween last night.
That doesn't count.
I took my kids out. We have bags and bags of processed food at home right now. No, of course, I am not a saint. I'm a sinner, and I live in the real world. I live in Montreal, which is a cold city. So I do eat processed food.
Okay.
But my staples, like the bulk of my calories, now come from the bread I make myself, the yogurt I make myself, the kefir, etc.
I want to see the book. I want to find
We
out more.
got to get the book,
We
and
do.
we'll have you back again.
Taras, thank you
There's
so
too
much
to
for
talk
coming
about.
in.